New York City Council back in business after a brief reprieve from politics. Council members come back swinging. They didn't waste any time rolling out their fiscal wish list, but will Mayor Bill de Blasio back them up? And Brooklyn's district attorney holds on to his promise to cut misdemeanor marijuana offenders some slack, but his decision not coming without some controversy. We'll tell you why Police Commissioner Bill Bratton says it's a bad move. And Yankees pitcher Michael Pineda disciplined after he's caught red-handed using pine tar again. The argument, everybody does it. Or at least that's what other players in the majors say. But why does baseball tolerate cheating so much? Good evening and welcome to RFL. I'm Andrew Whitman, in tonight for Richard French. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday evening, April the 24th. We begin tonight in New York City, where the City Council is back in session and council members are laying out their financial wish list. Among their requests, City Council Speaker Melissa Mark Viverito is asking the mayor to hire 1,000 new police officers. Council members are also asking for $24 million to pay for a free school lunch program that would be available to all students, regardless of family income. Council is also asking for housing rental vouchers for homeless families. And tonight, let's start with that proposal to hire 1,000 new cops. Mayor Bill de Blasio and Police Commissioner Bill Bratton didn't waste any time taking aim at that proposal and shooting it down. Bratton says, we've already got enough cops in the NYPD, and that cash should be used to give the current cops raises. Mayor de Blasio says, also enough officers on the force. City Council Speaker Melissa Mark Viverito disagrees, saying the NYPD has been reduced by thousands of officers over the years and that the mayor's Vision Zero crackdown on dangerous driving will require significant manpower. Let's bring in our panel tonight and see where they are on this. Tonight we're joined by Richard Brodsky, former Democratic New York State Assemblyman, now a senior fellow at Demos and a professor at NYU, and appearing tomorrow on NPR. Thanks for stopping by. Dominic Carter here, also political journalist and author. Welcome all. Let's start with these 1,000 cops on the street. It's a tough decision for the mayor, for the city council, for Bill Bratton to try to make. Do you want to give the NYPD the pay raises that they've been waiting for years, or do you use that cash to put 1,000 new officers on the street?
This is one of those questions that no one knows the right answer to. She could be right, she could be wrong. I don't know that it does a hell of a lot of good to go out publicly with a proposal like that. Usually you make your budget ads towards the end of the process. This time they seem to be leading with it. It's a perfectly legitimate argument to have. I haven't the slightest idea who's right. Let's move on.
Well, but it's a little early for that. All right. It's one of the problems here is that the pay raise that they're looking for would just about equal the amount that they would spend to hire the new officers. But, you know, the other thing is if you give them the pay raise, that eats up all the money. You also got a lot of cops working overtime, and that siphons off the cash, too. If you've got more officers, that's less overtime.
Well, with some of the overtime, they're able to get reimbursed from the feds on some of it. But it seems like this issue is dead on arrival. I could prove to be wrong, but because the council has a way, any legislative body has a way of negotiating its priorities, even when the chief executive doesn't agree with that, by leveraging that issue over something else. But when the mayor and the police commissioner have already said that they're basically against it for the reason that the current police force should receive a pay raise, I just don't see how the additional cops are going to come on board.
There may be more to this in terms of making the council look. She's a wholly owned subsidiary of Bill de Blasio. That's why she has the job.
Completely, yes.
This may be part of a visual that says, no, I'm going to do it my own way. The real problem, though, is that de Blasio again got screwed by Andrew Cuomo on this question of pay raises. By agreeing and being the architect of a pay raise package for the Transit Workers Union, much deserved in many ways, he set a precedent for the other unions that de Blasio doesn't think he can afford. When de Blasio has access to budget money that he can use for raises, he's going to prize that over new bodies. Again, I don't know that there's a right or wrong here.
And you know, Andrew, that's an excellent point, so-called pattern bargaining. When one union receives a pay raise, all the others, almost like ducks in a row, are standing there going, me too, me too. We want the same deal, the same lucrative deal that they got. And so if you pay the cops, you're going to have all the other unions, even though their job is much more dangerous than almost any we can imagine, saying, you know, the cops got X percent, we want X percent.
You know, we just got through the debate over stop and frisk. And it seems like the department has turned the corner on that. And you've got the broken windows policy that Bratton is looking for. Community policing, big for him as well. That requires cops on the beat. That requires manpower out in neighborhoods, and at least to establish a presence. The extra cops would come in handy.
You don't know that, and I don't know that they won't. The problem is that a decision like, do you have enough bodies out there on walking beats, is a question that is to be decided by the mayor, the commissioner, and the council after they figure out how to talk to each other. It's nothing that commentators can figure out.
Who has the leverage in that split in New York City with the city council versus, in this case, the mayor and the police commissioner?
The mayor always holds the ultimate leverage because the mayor can negotiate things or pressure the legislature. I'm talking now not necessarily about Albany, solely New York City and the city council. The mayor always gets his, or maybe one day her way, over the city council.
The council under Bloomberg and Quinn was a wholly owned subsidiary. I suspect that a lot of what's going on about this issue today is the news speaker trying to say, see, I'm not a wholly owned subsidiary. I don't think it matters much because they are.